Attorneys representing a man and a woman who were attacked by two dogs in Palatine are speaking out after another attack in Elmwood Park weeks later.
And WGN's Jewel Hillary is live in the loop now with more on this. Jewel.
Hi, good evening, you all. Those attorneys held a press conference here in the Loop earlier this afternoon. And during that press conference, they tell us that by the end of this week, they plan to file a legal complaint against the Village of Palatine, the owner of the alleged attack dogs, as well as the person they believe is currently keeping those dogs right now in Elmwood Park. On August 20th, Elmwood Park resident Steve Hines, who says he and his wife, Annetta, aren't doing so well, received a call he'll never forget. At the time, his wife, Annetta, was walking their dog, Piper Joe.
He had a phone call from a bystander who was walking their dog at the time as well and said that your wife and your dog have been attacked. So I ran out of the house. I couldn't find him at first. Then I got in my truck and I was on the scene. I saw my dog bloody all over the place and my wife standing there holding our animal.
During the attack, Hines says his beloved retriever was mangled by two large dogs, a pit bull mix and an Akita mix. He says his wife was slammed onto the ground, landing on her tailbone. She's now receiving care for her physical and emotional wounds.
My attack happened for 7 minutes, where I was being dragged along the concrete.
Attorneys representing the victims say Amanda Ingram and Chase Braun, who live in Palatine, were also attacked by the same dogs in May. Ingram's dog was killed, and Chase says he was brutally attacked.
I think they should euthanize the dogs and do a better job of following up.
Attorneys say the Village of Palatine made a plea deal with the dog's owner, Meliina Teodora. The deal kept the dogs from being euthanized as long as they moved outside of Palatine. According to attorneys, the village was supposed to keep track of the dogs and take other measures to keep the community safe.
Everything we understand tells us that the Village of Palatine did absolutely none of those checks. They did not follow up with the Teodoros about where the dogs went. They did not follow up with the Teodoros about what they were doing to ensure that the community around them was safe. And all of those failures led to this attack against Annetta.
In a statement from the Village of Palatine, Commander Bruce Morris says the village sought the most stringent outcome that was supported by the law and local ordinances at the time of the dog bites in Palatine, including criminal charges which remain pending. As to the administrative citations, to suggest that the dogs should have been euthanized would have been to ignore the law. The owner complied with the conditions of the court order, and the dogs completed the required training that they were ordered to undergo.
The purpose of being here today is to let the Village of Elmwood Park, to let the Cook County Animal Control, to let the Cook County State's Attorney know not to repeat the same mistake that the Village of Palatine did.
Now, those attorneys say that that pit bull mix and that Akita mix, as far as they know, are currently being kept in Elmwood Park by someone there. They also say that the owner of those dogs has been convicted of municipal violations in Elmwood Park. For now, reporting live in the Loop, Jewel Hillary, WGN News.